let me take your time out to say a special good morning to one and all. Welcome to today's edition of To The Point. I'm your host, GT. How's everyone doing this morning? It's Friday, and it's the 24th day of October within the year 2025. Hope everyone is having a great morning thus far. I'm certainly having a great morning. Certainly happy to be with you this morning. We have an open line edition for today on To The Point, which means you listeners and viewers the opportunity to call in, share your views, share your concerns relating to issues that do, of course, of importance that you would like to bring to the fore. Feel free to do so. 435-2041, doubling the options for you to call in the WhatsApp and the direct line, which carries the same number, 435-2041. I beg of you to be brief in terms of your contribution so we can accommodate as many callers as possible. Also, folks, make sure that your contribution, of course, is done in a respectful manner as we move through today's edition of To The Point. Once again, the phone lines are opened, 435-2041. We do have our first caller. Let's say good morning to the caller. Caller, you're welcome. Good morning, and how are you doing this morning?
Yeah, good morning, Mr. T. I'm maintaining here. Listen, it's something I like for our citizens of Grenada to contact the ministers and brought it to the front when they have a budget, maybe next Tuesday when they have it set aside some money in the budget for people that's fallen through the cracks. That is the seniors and the disabled. They aren't able to get to the medical institutes to get food. So I'm hoping and praying that all of Grenada citizens call and contact their ministers and vote budget, put aside budget transportation. So these people who have having a serious, terrible time getting to the medical station in the hospital or even getting food, they can have transportation to get them to and from. Okay, you have a blessed weekend.
You too, sir. Have a great morning and all the best. All right. 435-2041, 435-2041. You're a little bit of a beep on the line that I've never heard before. Something a little bit weird. Good morning to you, caller. Welcome. How are you this morning?
Yeah, I'm good enough, GT. I always said I always feel, a little bit uplifted when you're on the radio. Thank you.
All right.
Good morning to your listeners and your viewers. My contribution this morning is to help people to stay on course in terms of understanding the grave danger that we face. Both if an event which is impending happen, like the invasion of Venezuela or the regime change, with the implication for us as a region, in Grenada in particular. It is already precarious. It's already, quite some of the things that are happening. The big brother in the north continue to bomb or blow small vessels apart in the Caribbean Sea, not in the waters, and it begins to affect the Caribbean people because, like in Trinidad, people have lost their families. I'm told that in other places people are fighting to go out to sea. I mentioned that some weeks ago. These are things that we need to take into consideration. So those who have indicated that we should say yes, they don't understand the implication that we are creating for ourselves. We still suffer from some of the decisions we took in the past. For instance, when we voted or staying in a vote against the apartheid regime, this resulted in Nelson Mandela being advised to cancel a trip he was to take to Grenada when he was in Trinidad. We have to be careful that we don't put a black stain on ourselves. a stain on our children's future going forward. So I would urge people, as you go, I don't even want to say this Thanksgiving stuff, but you use the opportunity to reflect and to see how much you could help to influence a positive no response by our government to this, I would say, very ridiculous request. And finally, GT, I've been thinking lately, can you imagine if Venezuela had requested us to do the same? In the same context like when you had the Cuban Missile Crisis in 1962. Can you imagine what would happen? We'll be obliterated already. Thank you.
Thank you, caller. Appreciate your contribution as always. 435-2041, 435-2041. We do have another caller. Caller live. Good morning. Welcome.
Morning, Mr. Telesford. How are you, sir?
Not too bad at all. How are you this morning?
Yeah, just calling just with a little observation. As a motorist and so around St. George's area, city, there is on the lower, what you call H.A. Street, coming around just where it can be commonly called Rock Gardens.
Yes.
From that bend there, yeah. There is some debris that has slided down over more than a week now. And it's kind of bringing a little threat to motorists. I wonder if the relevant authorities can maybe do something later. There's been long overdue.
I have also noticed it, and I wonder if folks in the authority are moving around and paying attention to that. It's something that should be done about that. 435-2041, 435. Something a bit weird about my line beeping this morning for some reason. I haven't heard that before. Caller live. Good morning.
Good morning, GT.
Good morning.
To have you back. I miss your voice.
Thank you so much. Nice to be back.
All right. GT, I want to commend the government for joining with that business from Trinidad to start a business down here in prosthetics.
Yes.
Where the amputees have some assistance to make them a little bit more independent. It's very good, and I want to commend the government for that. But I think even before that, I think we are not doing enough. We are not doing sufficiently enough to assist persons, let's say diabetics, and those persons who are suffering with what you call this thing. Anyway, it's not coming to mind right now. GT, there are persons in our country, I know personally, who are going to study wounds, to study circulation problem and so on. I think we amputate too quickly, if you get me.
I certainly do. Certainly get you.
Yeah, we the first thing sometimes a little problem, and I'm not saying maybe it's the doctor's fault or whatever, right? I know that we have to work on diabetes, what we eat or exercise. That part, right? We have to do that. But the amount of people who are losing their limbs, GT, it is too much for a small nation. I think that there has to be a focus on putting together a team of people, and I know that there are persons down here who have studied wound treatment and circulation problem, but the focus is not on that. Is to amputate.
But it's left a lot, it's left a lot up to the individuals themselves also, in terms of how they manage their health also, right?
Yes, GT, I admit it. I agree. That's why I said we have to work on our diabetic treatment and how we eat and exercise and so on, yeah? So it's not only upon the healthcare professionals, but I think, GT, what I'm trying to say is that we could do much more with the little that we have rather than just amputating.
But sometimes it boils down to the last resort most of the times for the doctor or the practitioner who sometimes it's a last resort, after they may have tried everything else.
No, we have not tried everything else.
You don't believe so?
No, there are people, and I know of them personally, who have went to study GT, wound treatment, such as when diabetics have wounds and so on, and when people have problems with their circulation and so on. But as far as I know, they are not focusing on bringing these people together to treat such persons before they amputate.
But then it comes around to the individual being aware of individual with that particular qualifications, if you understand where I'm coming from. Sometimes individuals are not aware of individual with that qualification.
The government is supposed to know who they send to train.
I agree. Yes, I understand that. I understand that.
I'm calling on the Minister of Health And those of you who waiting to call to say, well, people supposed to take care of their health, I agree. But I'm calling on the Minister of Health to get these people together, put a team together so that we have persons who is going to work on those persons to help save limbs, if you get me.
Thank you, caller. Thank you so much. I mean, and that's a very important contribution you're making. I would say has a friend who in less than a year and a half has lost both legs.
Yeah,
you understand that sometimes it's really hard for me to see the individual where it is now needing them so much assistance than they needed before. You know?
GT, listen to me. The only place you have, to me, all these persons without limbs and so on is on our. We cut off limbs too quickly, man.
I understand. Thank you for your contribution. Suddenly made a whole lot of sense. 435-2041. We go back to the phone line. Caller, you are live. Good morning and welcome. Let me get that in. Caller, you're live. Good morning. You're welcome.
Hey, good morning, Mr. Telesford.
Good morning to you, sir. How are you doing, sir?
Caramba, it's extremely... Oh, man, what a feeling to hear you back. You know something, for a moment become a very, very kind of a strange individual in my thinking. I thought for a moment, whereas about a month ago, you read out the significance, the dictionary definition of a schedule to the Grenadian people, and it was soon after that you disappeared. I said, what the hell is going on here? I was waiting, you know.
You thought I got amputated too, right?
I thought, yeah, for a moment, no doubt, but let's get on to the meat of the matter. That last sister made a significant point.
Yes, sir.
The fact is, today in the world, sir, there are excellent treatments for what is known as diabetic foot or something like that. I think is classified. In other words, the wounds that appear, you know, where people so they get an abrasion and so on, and it quote unquote Grenadians that turn out.
Yes.
And then we brand it alive. So, and in fact, there's so many. As a matter of fact, right there in Cuba, there's a medication which the Cubans developed. They call it Herboprot. I think Herboprot 20 something anyway. And it's extremely good for it. I don't know why we can't get it. So the lady's making a very important point. I can't see today, but I understand that many of our people have been losing limbs. But that's all part of the story. Let's see how much we doing for health in this here country. Mr. Telesford, I do not want to speak about the matters in relation because it's crystal clear, and I understand in St. George there was a strong manifestation in defense of the answer to the United States. No, we shall not, will not, cannot, I never thought of permitting the installation any military, and it's significant to note, because I understand in our country, in 2 points, it was confirmed to me this morning on the airport that we have raiders related to the shipwrights agreement of the late 1990s, I think it was, which facilitates the United States to monitor shipping and aviation through the Caribbean. Civil purpose. And this is perfect. There's nothing wrong with that. But if you're talking about installing military type radars for the purpose of guiding missiles to aggress another Caribbean neighbor country, the answer is no. And I'm warning the government, and this thus referred to Prime Minister, because I find it taking so long to make a decision on that. All you have to do is consult the people, a simple thing. If you say yes, your government falls.
Is it as simple as that, sir? Just consult with the people?
It is simple. Oh, you mean if it is simple? Anyway, so much for that, Mr. Telesford. I still want to go back to something that Grenadians see. Well, of course, things happen. And other things replace things of the past. But I still want to stress on to Grenadians. We have to deal with the counter-coup to the laws that were passed on the 27th and 28th of August. These laws make no sense for the simple reason that the theory put forward by the CCBOs of the CCR is a false and fraudulent. We looked at the significance, the meaning, the dictionary definition of a schedule, and a schedule cannot be disconnected from a clause in any statute nor in any contract. cannot, because that's precise in the schedule, is where precisely the details, and note the details, it may be financial details, there may be technical details, there may be procedural details, there will be operational details, even contractor, Mr. Telesford. Look, I've worked with construction companies and as what they call a logistical foreman immediately after the engineer. I was privy to these things because there in the schedule where all the things has to be done technically and to specification. Therefore, I have living proof that you cannot separate a schedule from a law. They did that, and they used statements and expressions and components of the said constitution that are not reflected in in the schedule 1 of the constitution, the one after 111. It's been deceit. It's a hoax they've dropped on us. And as a matter of fact, it can be seen because nothing has happened yet. Take a look. Tell me what has changed. The king is still sitting in the parliament. They'll be in the parliament soon, I understand. The king is still sitting. The king is the king in the parliament. The king is the head of the executive as written in 57 and 23 related to the parliament. So what has changed? Nothing. They're looking to be relevant after they have pilfered the country all through the years and have deceived the people. And because that has challenged them, they're trying to restrict the voice. But I want to send this message to them today. This class, that they cannot censure, nor close me off in anything I want to say, because I identify them and the hoax they've put onto the people they're trying to sell them, but you all can't do it. And I wish the Grenadian people open their eyes and get your grandchildren to read constitutional document with you. I'll say no more on that, Mr. Telesford. But don't forget, we can't stop because we know we're right. Debate is the issue here. Thank you very much, Mr. Telesford.
Thank you, sir. Have a great morning. Have a great morning yourself. 435-2041, 435, and I have a comment from one via the WhatsApp, and they're saying, I agree that we should be given to those in need. Let me get that over. I agree that help should be given to those in need, but those calling for the government to do it all will be paying more taxes. For that is where the money, and should I say, for that is where the money comes from. So let's go back to the phone line. We have a WhatsApp caller. Your live WhatsApp caller. Good morning. You're welcome.
Good morning, Mr. Telesford, and how are you doing?
Doing great, sir. Doing great. How are you this morning?
I'm doing great, sir. Well, no, I'm not doing great at all.
You're not doing great.
I'll tell you why. My mind seems troubled.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you why. You remember when there was regime change somewhere in the Middle East?
Yes, I remember.
In Libya and in the other regions, what came about of it? ISIS came about.
Yes.
And that's my fear.
Formulation of other groupings, right?
Yeah, because when you take away the leadership of certain strong men, what you find may happen is that persons who may splinter groups that come about after it may not be, they may be draconian. And they may do things that ordinary people may not like, and that's my fear. And I don't think what I would like to do, I would like to call on people who are in the diaspora to get with their Congress people, the senators and the representatives, and talk to them, because the catastrophic thing that may happen may even affect the U.S. itself, because when these guys get loose, they go far and wide and they do damaging things. And so I'm begging people in diaspora, I'm begging people even in Trinidad and Tobago, talk to your leadership, get them to understand that this thing is just not a glimpse eye over what you see. But when you have regime change, a lot of things that are harmful and deadly can happen. So please, if you have to do it through a process that is continued change, and you have change over a period of time, yes, but not this draconian walk in and do military change. That does not help. It does not help. War helps no one. I think the way to go is peace, and I believe in peace going forward. And I hope that at the end of the day, peace will prevail. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. And it's definitely a great contribution there from you this morning, sir. Appreciate that a whole lot. It certainly speaks a whole lot. Folks, we drew for a break. Let's take it. When we come back, we continue to take your calls live here on To The Point, the open line edition for today, Friday, the 24th of October. We'll be right back.
Blue Bubbles, PA Rentals and Event Supplies, Chateau de la Mas Grenada, Captain Harris Apartments, Gem Holiday Beach Resorts, Dana City Inn, Grenada Trade Center, proud partners of the 19th Annual Hubbard's Legends in Concert, Sunday, November 9th, 5 p.m., Grenada Trade Center.
Grenada, the knockout fever is back, and it's blazing hotter than ever. Week 2 of the Wagiti Carib Super Knockout Football Tournament is lighting up the pitch at the Kirani James Athletic Stadium. And trust us, you don't want to miss this. Wednesday, October 22nd, 6 p.m. Sab Spartans SC versus St. John Sports Club Youth. 8 p.m. Hard Rock Sports Club versus Sunjets United. Admission just $20 for double the action. Friday, October 24th, 7 p.m. Willis Youth versus Celebrity FC, featuring team members like Dash, Skull Dog, Shaquan, Happy Boy, DJ Fellas, Kavon, Little Jello, Bunny J, and more. Bringing star power both on and off the field. Then at 9 p.m., Police Sports Club versus KFC North Stars. Same deal. $20 gets you in for both thrilling matchups. The Wagiti Carib Super Knockout Football Tournament. Week 2 is here, and it's knockout time. Football, music, and pure Grenadian vibes. Be there.
Grenada, get ready! GBN and the Ministry of Education presents Christmas Harmonies 1.0. The inaugural primary school choir singing competition, December 5th, 1 p.m. The Grenada Trade Center. 15 schools, magical voices, and fierce competition. Cheer for your favorites in categories like Overall Champion, Most Creative, Best Solo, and Best Group. Entrance, adults $10, children $5. Don't miss the holiday magic. Christmas Harmonies 1.0, where Grenada's brightest and youngest voices shine. Be there.
Mr. mentioned the wing high, then you have things like man, you must come back, you know. We have the low power that.
It is kind of like the same man, and it's just different name for the same kind of thing.
And last but not least, I just want to say to all the men who saw me, call me, and ask for a piece of cake. I'm baking this weekend.
Join us Fridays at 8 on GBN Television, K105 FM, GBN's Facebook page, and YouTube channel for We Culture.
Back, listeners, welcome back, viewers, to The Point, Classic Radio GBN TV, Friday the 24th of October. We have an open line edition this morning, which gives you listeners and viewers the opportunity to call in, share your views, share your concerns. We have double the option for you to call in via the WhatsApp and also the direct line, 435-2041. Let's go back to the phone line. Caller, you're live. Good morning, welcome.
Yes, good morning.
Good morning to you, sir.
Yes. As we know, as the word say, wisdom is better than weapons of war. So I just urge the government to use weapons. Whether we do wisdom, because we don't have weapons of war, but we have wisdom. Let us use wisdom and forget our weapons of war and just try to guide ourselves by our wisdom. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much. 435-2041, 435-2041. Good morning to drivers on our nation's roads. Good morning. Don't forget to drive along with that due care and attention. Beg of you to do that always. Look at for other road users also, as they may be individuals walking, or the drivers. Yeah, if everyone look out for each other, we could have a sort of a problem-free way of how we use our nation's roads. 435-2041, 435-2041. The lines are open. It's an open line edition this morning. Offer To The Point. We take in your phone calls, and we still have another, should I say, roughly 35 minutes or so left on today's program. The lines are open. 435-2041. I see your contribution to concerns. Of course, about what's taking place on our beautiful island. Maybe something in your community that is of concern to you, and you want to bring that to the fore, feel free to do so. There's lots of things going on in the international world that you may like to, talk about too, or feel free to do that also on today's edition. Let's go back to the phone line. Caller, you're live. Good morning. Welcome.
How are you doing today, my friend? You great?
I'm doing good. How are you this morning?
I couldn't be better. Anyway, quickly, before I just make my substantive contribution, I looked at this hero business 19 October nonsense that I Mitsubishi is just set of crap. But the whole idea of that is just nonsense. Because if the party, they had a problem with Morris, he was not performing, right? There was an issue of joint leadership came up. He agreed and he agreed, and then afterwards he changed his mind, right? As a result, everything went haywire, and he take people up to the fort, right? And they get killed. I don't see how these people are heroes. So let's just not go down there. Number two, I listened to the speeches. There was Dr. Diblicus Jews who worked with Morris, you know him personally. There was the one and only, the most honorable Andy Williams, the most popular politician in Grenada today in the face of the NDC party and government, and of course Deacon. And persons that I listen to, I think Andy, most honorable Andy, outshine all of them. He needs to be applauded. He was just great. He was charismatic and like a statesman. He really did good, and I'm proud of you, Andy. You outshine all of the rest. Now, what I want to get back to on the 4th, that happened in October 19, in 1983, right? These people had a problem in the party. People don't understand. It was a problem between the whole party and government. It would have been like a civil war. Morris, just like I say, he went back because they claim he wasn't performing. So the two favorite men in the party or the government was Code and Bishop. All this thing about Code plan to kill Bishop and all this thing, that was just nonsense. Because even his people, Morris people say it was a lie that Morris would be created. I don't know. Right? So they saw that these two people will have the revolution together and will bring about change and will do because the revolution was falling apart. Well, of course, they self-destruct. So I don't know how people can say Morris was so popular and he's so great. Well, that is a matter of opinion, so I have to respect that. And the revolution collapsed. Anyway, so the idea was the two of them would lead for the betterment of the country first. So he went back on his word, and that is where the whole thing started. But if you have a problem in your party, that happened. Well, among yourself, or maybe ask Sir Eric Matthew Gary, the greatest prime minister and leader that ever passed in this country, to help you solve it. Big educated men. All them must scream at the crop, sir. And I'm not saying this to criticize people all jump on the chest. Solve it among yourselves. You can't take people up to the fort. And I was listening to a documentary. Yes, what day it was. Because, everybody will make documentary. They say the things yesterday, or this foolish thing say about only 17 of them. Apparently, it was an objective analysis. When they did the investigation, was 300. What about the 300 people? Also heard some, not Wesley Hall, Happy Hill Secondary School people were saying that they were part of it.
Caller, I would like to listen to you, of course, give that story in its entirety, but for time purposes, I may have to ask you to wrap, please.
So I'm wrapping up now, so it's not a matter of heroes. These people, because I even have tried to go up on the fort and I almost get crushed. It's fastness. These people are not heroes from Morris and them go down. And people just stay away from violence. That's all I'm saying. And don't jump on the back.
Thank you so much, caller. Thank you so much. We do have another caller via WhatsApp caller, you're live. Good morning. Welcome.
Hello. Good morning.
Good morning. How are you doing, sir?
Well, I'm doing fine. How are you doing?
Doing good. Myself. I'm doing pretty well.
Right. Long time. I'm in there.
Yeah.
We have one politician in Grenada who has the authority or who can be called the Right Honorable. And that is Dr. Keith Claudius Mitchell. He's a member of His Majesty's Privy Council. No, I know this morning on one station or somebody talking about the Right Honorable Dickon Mitchell. And now I hear Ms. Anne-Marie talking about the Right Honorable, I think it's Andy. They are not Right Honorables. They are not members of the Privy Council. Right. If you are a member of the Privy Council, you get that title. Jamaica, the Prime Minister of Jamaica is entitled to the Right Honorable because they deal with this thing in Parliament and said, well, he has to be called the Right Honorable. Right? Secondly, on another program, I tried to listen to them in the morning, I heard a guy, and it was so ignorant of this presenter talking about man holding man hand, and he never know about man holding hand because apparently saw a picture of our Prime Minister, Dickon Mitchell, holding hand of maybe his counterpart or the governor in Ghana. That is acceptable in Ghana, or that is part of Ghanaian life for men to hold hands to show friendship, camaraderie, and all of that. It is accepted to hold men's hand in public. If you think you could do a Google search, right? Do the research and see there is nothing wrong with it. But they are trying to, and that to insinuate that there's some homosexuality situation taking place. And the guy on that radio station, I tried calling him, I lose all my credit because he had me holding on. I don't know if he saw it me and he decided to take the call. That is wrong. That is bad. That is wrong information. That is incorrect use of the radio station. And people calling the radio station and giving people wrong titles, etc. That is also incorrect use of the radio station. I listen to all those programs to learn, to learn from people. But if you're coming on and you're saying something because you want to say it, people will take it from you and believe they could call any, because MP is doing well, you could call him the Right Honorable. Right? Because your Prime Minister is doing well, you could call him the Right Honorable. But they have to get that title. It's not something people just say. They have to get that title. Incidentally, heroes, we're talking about heroes. Grenada do not have any official hero. My father is my hero, right? Maybe your father is your hero, but we do not have any official hero. So when you have people talking about this person is their hero and that person, that is their personal thing. That is not an official thing. I don't know anybody in Grenada where the title of national hero, we're talking national hero, we have no national hero. I would put my neck on a block and say one of the greatest heroes we have was Petronella Ferguson from Victoria. That's a woman who she ironed for the whole day. GT, you know them cold pot iron and things? And then the flood came, the deluge, the flood came. On the night, she lost her husband in the flood. She lost her son in the flood. And she saw what looked like the water going with somebody. She swam out in the raging water and rescued a young lady. Coincidentally, I said that from my mother. The young lady was my mother's friend. They went to primary school together, right? She rescued the lady, and the water keep taking them, and then afterwards they reach a calmer spot apparently, and they started swimming. And then Miss Petty, as we fondly call her, tell the young girl, wait now, the water is getting colder. That means we're going out to sea. Let's change direction. That navigational skill to save her life, she has to be our number one hero. But nobody talking about, everybody to be a hero, you have to pick up gun, you have to fight, Fedon, Bishop, this one, that one, you have to pick up gun. You have to pick up gun and fight to be a hero. You have to do this thing that, some great thing that people appreciate. And we need to look at that.
All right.
I don't know if we're talking about Fedor. Just let me close quickly. Fedor, I don't know if Fedor is a citizen of Grenada, but Fedor was not born in Grenada. And according to Act 22 of 2007, with national heroes, etc., you have to be either a citizen born in Grenada or become a citizen of Grenada. I don't know in Fedor days, he was born in Martinique. If he had citizenship by investment, then. Have a good morning.
Thank you, sir.
Bye.
Of course, your information is very edifying, and thank you so much. Thank you so much. Always a pleasure hearing from you. Let's go back to the phone line. We do have another caller. Caller, you're live. Good morning and welcome.
Yes, sir.
Good morning to you, sir.
This is not my phone, because I don't have control over my phone. No.
So would you continue, please?
Yes. I like to listen to people like this man. In fact, I have further extended my education. I don't know what people mean by education, but I was able to assess what he's saying is true. And I always think about those things. People come in and call people different names, and they don't have an iota of knowing thinking of what they're saying. They just say things with the wideness of their mouth. Now, I look at the situation with Grenada and America wanting us to have this putting up this satellite dish and whatever they're supposed to be at Pansalin. Now, all what our Prime Minister likely to have to say is we have to discuss it with the people of Grenada, and we'll get the information to you to know if they want it. So we have to put the onus on ourselves rather than the Prime Minister. The Prime Minister is not really the whole of the population. He's only one man. So he has the right to say, he has the right to use a diplomatic way of answering questions. Thank you. That's what I said. I like Humphrey. What Humphrey usually say and what we should do. These are the men I would associate myself with, not for fighting, but for the advice. Thank you very much.
Thank you, caller. Thank you very much. Appreciate your contribution as always. 435-2041. We go back to the phone line. We're moving up to 25 minutes before 10 o'clock. Let's go to the phone line. Caller, you're live. Good morning. Welcome.
Good morning.
Good morning to you, sir.
Yes, sir. I'm a citizen of Grenada, listening to the program. But I think we are straying a bit by saying what happened in the revolution and who are those instigators and all those things. And for me, I think that is propaganda campaign. It's sounding on the radio as a propaganda campaign. We are citizens of Grenada, and we need to say whatever we want to happen in our country. We're not forcing anybody to take what we are saying, or we're not forcing the Prime Minister, because the Prime Minister has his own Prime Minister. We are the government. And if we sit, and I think that we need to voice our opinion as to what will need to be done in our country. Thank you.
Thank you, caller. Thank you very much also for stating your opinion there. We go back to the phone line. We do have another caller. Caller, you're live. Good morning. Welcome to The Point.
Good morning, Gigi.
Good morning to you, sir.
Today?
Doing great. Doing great.
Wonderful. Yeah, Gigi, the way in which we've been conditioned, politically, socially, religiously, really has a lot to do with how we react. A man think it's so easy. No, in terms of the trajectory of this present administration and the way they're going, it kind of dawned on me, and it hit me very hard, the manifesto. What they promise, and this is a fact, what they promise in the election manifesto, do you know they fulfill, in some cases, over 80%, in certain cases, couple percent, but I don't have the number on. But when you look at politics and politicians, and you see what the political system is. It's one thing to back your government or the people that you love. The next thing is seeing the promise you made if you fulfill it. You know, you've seen the bi-monthly. You've seen what they've done in education. You've seen the amount of schools built. You've seen what they've done in the creative, in the creatives and stuff like that, and so much to mention. And I'm seeing, even in terms of the head, you see what they're doing to basically put Grenada in a different way to be seen from a health point of view. And these things should be commended. What we should do is pray and trust God and come together and pray for the leadership of the government, which is Deacon Mitchell. Pray and ask God for guidance, because all statistics show, all evidence show that they're going in a right direction. We should give that praise, and we should thank God for him, because at the end of the day, he too needs God. So it's not just about Deacon Mitchell, right? But it's also about our praise, because a lot of the time, the truth and the fact is, sometimes we big up the politician and we don't give God enough praise. And I don't think God will please with us. So in all honesty, they fulfill what they say they will do, manifesto point of view. And a matter of fact, they surpass the expectation in many cases. And there's no perfection in the human domain. But generally speaking, they've done a really good job. So whether green, yellow, pink, or blue, we should all admit that, and we should see the truth in what I've just said.
Thank you, caller.
We should keep on praying for them. Have a good day.
You too, sir. Have a good one. And we are due for a break. Let's take that break, and when we come back, we continue with, of course, a live call segment. Stay with us to the point. Classic Radio, GBN TV. We will be right back.
Come on out, Grenada. Let's move to live. Sunday, October 26, 2025. Fitness walk beginning with warm-up at 2 p.m. at Progress Park St. Andrew. Organize your churches, clubs, family, and community. Great prizes to be won. Call 442-7450 to order your t-shirts now. Features and attractions galore to keep you moving. Hosted by the Health and Youth Departments of the Grenada Conference of Seventh-day Adventists.
Grenada, the knockout fever is back, and it's blazing hotter than ever. Week 2 of the Wagiti Carib Super Knockout Football Tournament is lighting up the pitch at the Kirani James Athletic Stadium. And trust us, you don't want to miss this. Wednesday, October 22nd, 6 p.m. Sub Spartans SC versus St. John Sports Club Youth. 8 p.m. Hard Rock Sports Club versus Sunjets United. Admission just $20 for double the action. Friday, October 24th, 7 p.m. Willis Youth versus Celebrity FC, featuring team members like Dash, Skulldog, Shaquan, Happy Boy, DJ Fellas, Kavon, Little Jello, Woody J, and more. Bringing star power both on and off the field. Then at 9 p.m., Police Sports Club versus KFC North Stars. Same deal, $20 gets you in for both thrilling matchups. The Wagiti Carib Super Knockout Football Tournament. Week 2 is here, and it's knockout time. Football, music, and pure Grenadian vibes. Be there.
Grenada, get ready! GBN and the Ministry of Education presents Christmas Harmony 1.0. The inaugural primary school choir singing competition. December 5th, 1 p.m. The Grenada Trade Center. 15 schools, magical voices, and fierce competition. Cheer for your favorites in categories like Overall Champion, Most Creative, Best Solo, and Best Group. Entrance, adults $10, children $5. Don't miss the holiday magic. Christmas Harmony 1.0, where Grenada's brightest and youngest voices shine. Be there.
Welcome back, listeners. Welcome back, viewers. Once again, it's To The Point, Classic Radio, GBN TV. In some of the final segment of today's program, 435-2041. And let me just quickly read a contribution from someone via the WhatsApp. And they're saying, Grenada needs to improve its self-sufficiency. We need to grow more food. The price of bananas in Grenada should not be more than in should I say in America, as what the caller or the individual is trying to present there. We need to fix that. We do have another caller. Caller, you're live. Good morning and welcome.
So
good morning to you.
Please permit me. No, I always say that, and this is what I believe, and this is what I also believe, that other people like me, and maybe you, maybe education means fit to live and fit to live with. In other words, you should be able to, a man hit you, you should know how to react. Because maybe if you hit him at the wrong time, you might kill him, or you might even go to jail. So maybe the thing is, when you react, you could turn away and say, Father, forgive him. You know that what he has done. You may get your reward, but in some way or the other. In fact, we are saying that we are educated. You and I don't believe, but we should be able to accept what somebody says and try to correct them, possibly in a mild way. And this is what people don't understand. Everybody in Grenada is a builder, is a contractor, is a this, is a... In fact, look at what they say. Stop import vehicles. Less non-importation. And yet we want more work. We get money. When I say we are not a parliamentarian, we get money from the customs. And the more vehicle we import, we would have, I say we would have to run the country.
So, sir, you were saying that you are in agreement with that we have more importation of vehicles in Grenada. You are in agreement to that?
Yes, it's true. What we have to do, we have to do things.
Your agreement with it is basically to say that it will bring more revenue to Grenada. In all that, you don't care about the environment, anything else that
I'm saying, I didn't say I don't care. But I'm responding to what people are saying. The environment is very important. The pollution and the this and the that. So this is what we don't understand.
All right.
We have to get the money from somehow or the other to employ more people, to employ workers, so to try to satisfy them. So we have to damage something to satisfy. I wanted to say the poor thinking of.
So I want to say thank you so much.
Myself.
Have a good morning. Have a good morning. We do have a caller from via the WhatsApp. WhatsApp, you're live. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning to you, sir.
My call. I must agree with some of the callers who went in the past. Mr. Dabo, you're sure right with what you said with regard to what should be, and what is a fact. You call people by the correct name, educate our young people. And Mr. Rolo, you're so right. You cannot remove a set schedule from a contract or from the Constitution. So anybody else saying anything to the contrary, they're lying for you, even if they have a professional qualification as an attorney. However, there are some more important things. In life, on average, we live about 70 years. Some die at 40 and some make 90. We eat, on average, we talk, we walk, on average, generally the same way as, whether you're white, black, blue, or brown. However, in this era, we earn our income in different ways. You had slavery in the past, people were not getting paid, they were beaten. So we earn income in many different ways now. Therefore, we need to have a balance. As a matter of fact, years ago, you didn't have any cell phones. You had a rotary phones. You had to use your finger and turn it to make a call. Now we have rotary phones, So we have to create a balance in our life as to how we function and how we behave. Well, you know what? Principle is principle. What principle are we talking about? We're talking about love. We're talking about war. We're talking about capitalism and socialism. Are we dealing with hardcore reality with our lives? We need to wake up and create that balance, because there's a reason why we have 2 eyes, 2 ears, 2 feet, 2 hands. It's not by accident. So we must create a balance. And we are a zone of peace. That's very good. We must go down that road. But brothers and sisters, we have to look back, We can't forget our history. Grenada has been a very violent place, during the Federal Rebellion, based on history, they executed about 40 or more people, you know. And you know what? The colonialists decided after that, all who supported, well, not all, but many who supported, they executed them publicly, you know, in the Market Square in St. George. We have to realize we have a very violent history. And brother, for those who still not want to tell Grenadians the truth, even the young ones, with all that took place in Grenada during 1979 to 83, there were a lot of good things, you know, but there were bad ones. And to be specific, on October 19th, that was just not occur by accident. Militias in Grenada were disarmed. They were told, you know what, we need to take away your guns, we will bring new ones for you. The new ones never came. So some of the people knew what they were doing. The playbook is still going on, you know. Playbook is still going on. They are using people in a certain place, country against tongue. It's not by accident, you know. Look at them fellas and them who goes to 2 schools in Grenada, PBC and GBSS. They always feel they must be in charge. And they come to you in the country and tell you all about your problems. And when they get into power, they forget you. And they make South St. George and the tongue of St. George, Grenada. And 90% of the investment is there. And they give you no incentives to a great place like Battery as a beach for you to put hotels. Wake up, Grenadians. So what occurred on the 14th October 19th, where people went up there innocently? Yeah, there were a lot of children. We still don't know all who died. The guys, when they came there, if you listen to some of the big boys, let's say, I will give orders to take over military installations. Yeah, civilians should not have been there, but they never came and talked to people in their voice and say, please leave. They never came with a PA system and tell people, please leave. When the cars came up, the armored cars came up, the guys who were sitting on the side, their foot went to the front and they started firing bullets. But they tell you, you know what, the people on the photo are armed. If people on the photo armed, Mr. Lincoln Smith from Closure would have been armed. I didn't see him with no gun in his hand or in his waist. Many others. So we need to wake up and realize the truth. Sometimes it's a difficult thing. We have to love our brothers and sisters. We have to have principle with regard to how we function. But at the end of the day, we have to look at what is the balance, what is the survival, what is the changes that take place in a new era, and how do we deal with it. Have a blessed day.
You too, sir. Thank you. Thank you so much for your contribution. Let's go back to the phone line. Caller, you're live, and I forgive you for your patience. I'm happy for your patience. Good morning.
No problem. Thank you. I'm quite young, actually, 30, so I don't even believe I'm qualified to the things that...
Don't worry about it. Take it. Go right ahead, please.
Addressing. No, I'm just stating the age for a reason. Not that I don't believe I can speak. But see that whenever we come to October, we realize that history repeats itself and the conversation is the same. And not that we want to move away from what happened actually happened, and I think it should be recorded in the pages of Grenada's history. But I realize that we can't move forward. And revolution and slavery are 2 of the greatest injustices done to humanity, particularly to the citizens of Grenada. But what do we want from it? Where do we want to go from there? If every October we repeat the same talking points, we find ourselves not being able to make decisions because it's always sensationalized based on emotions, feelings, what our families would have experienced. And one of the calls by our government now is for reparations for slavery. And I think that should be part of the discussions for persons who would have been affected adversely through the revolution. Families who would have been disenfranchised, whether through economics or loss of life, we would have to consider that, whether it is that they want to be heard or they want to be compensated for loss. And I think that would help heal the wounds and close some of the gaps so that we can move forward, because every October you can hear the pain in their voice of what they would have went through, and then depends on which fence you're sitting on. For those who were the administrators of slavery, they got great gain, but for those who were on the side of slavery, meaning slaves, they would have experienced the hardship. So history is a judge, and we need to look at what needs to be done to move be the same talking points every time, because even
what different approach, sir, would you like to see taking, especially in the commemoration of October 19th and stuff? What different approach would you like to see from your point of view?
Since it was an issue because of government, we look at the movement who was there at the time. So it was a government entity with a true force or election that was responsible for these events. And I think the government has to take a serious approach that by analyzing whether it's setting up a committee for persons to go through the communities to see who are the persons that were really affected, get the evidence of it, see what damage was done to their family, whether they would have lost income, lost opportunities, and put a financial value to it. Not that you're only going to be paying them up, but give them the opportunity to speak and record their history and have these things. Sometimes only gloss over people's experience and their feelings. They tend to feel like they cast aside. So I think that's part of the healing process. If we don't do that, we would never move forward.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much for your contribution this morning. Appreciate it a whole lot. And suddenly made a whole lot of sense. We do have another caller. Caller via WhatsApp. You're welcome. Good morning.
Yeah, GT, two points. One is that I want to advise people to look on YouTube for an interview that the Honorable Gonzalez did, and he dealing with the issues that we face in Grenada, and listen to what he said. I think it's very instructive. Unfortunately, most people don't really access this kind of information. He was being interviewed by people in St. Vincent about the meeting with CARICOM and OECS and so on, what kind of advice they give to Grenada, and what would be the stance of the various people. So it's very instructive, so I would advise people. But on the latter issue that have been discussed by your callers, I ask myself, why are we so hypocritical? We had a Truth and Reconciliation Commission.
Yes.
What about that? Was it a Mickey Mouse thing? In fact, we don't want any closure on this, because if there's any closure, we have nothing to point finger against people. I hear people say things that happen on the fort, on Fort Rupert. And I ask myself, was I in a dream? Some of the things they're saying? No, I'm not saying that, things didn't, bad things didn't happen on the fort. But to say like, oh, there was only good people on the fort and people didn't have arms, I think it's ridiculous. I saw people distributing arms. I heard people say, look, we need to go and take over the telephone company. We need 100 people, and arms were distributed to them. So, I could only be honest with what I've experienced. Not because I have any allegiance to any ideology or any group of people, but when I hear things, and people saying, as if they were present, I was present there. I brought a woman who got into it to the hospital. I asked her. She lived in Montmorency. She's still alive. I wasn't there because I had any particular side. I wanted to understand what was going on. That's why I ended up there.
All right.
So we need to go back and ask ourselves. I asked the minister at the time who was responsible, Larry Joseph, how much the thing cost, the Commission of Inquiry, and he couldn't tell me. I also have promised, if there was an impartial inquiry, commission of inquiry, I'm willing to go forward to it. Even some of the people in the 17, which people seen pointing finger, they said, okay, look, we want to cooperate, but we need some guarantees. You can't just hold people at ransom. Anyway, thank you.
Thank you, as always. We do have another caller, which may be my final caller for the morning. Caller, you're live. Good morning, welcome.
Yeah, good morning, brother.
Good morning to you. How are you doing this morning, man?
Good time, brother.
All right.
Last night we were looking at news and I saw a clip saying that Ghana is going to help us in the agriculture sector. And I was surprised to say Ghana is going to help us. Because I know of a Grenadian who's working in Ghana high up in the agriculture sector, teaching Ghanaians how to farm. Yeah? A Grenadian from St. Patrick. So I don't know how Ghana could help us when we are already helping them. Something is not really matching up there. Secondly, with our agriculture sector, back then rain wasn't falling. So our farmers were seeing real trouble. We had to look at our farmers because they're seeing trouble. Yeah? A farmer told me that he gets some supplies from the government. And the official part, I said, well, you're using up this stuff? What kind of thing is that? He said, well, I have no use for this stuff right now because look what I'm doing and you give me this, I can't use it right now. I'm just saying that. If we focus on farming in this country, we want to help our farmers. Give them what they need. Open markets for them. You can't let them up to the vendors to deal with them. The vendors are taking full advantage of the farmers. There's no market for all goods. Farmers are seeing real trouble. How can we fix that? Open market and give the farmers what they need. Look, example again, you have a tractor service in place. They're charging $65 per hour. And the workers come in at 8 o'clock, they'll be in the yard at 9 in your farm. And they work for 3 hours, 12 o'clock they finish work. How can it increase farming in Grenada when tractor services work about 4 hours as a month? So we are not serious. There is a market, and our tractor services are waste of time. So for us to really push in this sector, we need to seriously look at this sector and push. Because we are playing games. We're talking about Russia and America and Russia and even Iran, and just name it countries, and we don't look at our own country. And our people are suffering because why? Putting the right things in place for our people. Let's focus on our people. Now people need, before you look at other countries. Have a nice day, brother.
Thank you also, brother. Have yourself a great day. What's left of it, folks? That's what we're going to take a wrap for today's edition of To The Point. I want to thank everyone who called in and gave their contribution this morning. Appreciate it a whole lot. Wish you all the best for the rest of the day. It's market day today. Don't forget to go on out and get whatever you need from the market. It's going to be a holiday tomorrow, Saturday. So best wishes for the rest of the day, and be good to each other. That's what we say goodbye for today's edition of To The Point. Goodbye, folks.